To celebrate the new season of My Hero Academia, we're gonna recap the entirety of season 1 in this episode. Holy frick, I sounded like a mix of Gilbert Gottfried and Nextaku. The first episode of the show starts with Deku crying. What the frick? He's trying to stand up against the bully being Bakugo, and no, don't try to defend him. He is scum right now. But I digress. Meet Izuku Midoriya, aka Deku, who was born as a quirkless human in a world full of people who have specific superpowers known as quirks. Since almost all of the world's population has some power, there are those with stronger quirks and those with weaker ones. Just like there are those who use it for evil, the villains, and the ones who use it for good, the heroes. Well, everyone's so quirky. Not just heroes. They call them bro heroes because it is literally the ideal profession for a person in this world. Look at this. They have a dude made of wood and he can stretch very, very close to a power all men have. I don't really want to focus on other heroes here other than the start of Mount Lady, who is just a frackin' big woman. My power's being thick. Depending on who you ask, that is a superpower. Anyways, the time of graduation is upon Deku's class, and everyone aims to go to a hero academy since they're all quirky and cool. Bakugo, the bully, is a bit too confident in his abilities and wants to join the top hero academy, UA, which to this day, I still don't know what it stands for. He's not very pleased about Deku wanting to join UA as well. Why, you ask? Well, I'd like to understand how this guy's brain works too, but sometimes we don't always get what we want. The reason Deku wants to join UA is all but one, and it's one for all. Yeah! He is the biggest fan of the #1 pro hero in the world, All Might. It is a really bad day for my guy. After being insulted in school, he gets jumped by this slime monster who attempts to take over his body. All Might comes in just in time to save him. Thanks to this, he gets to have a full-on conversation with his god. He has but one question to ask. Could a quirkless dude like him become a hero too? He keeps talking about this without realizing that the bulky All Might had turned into a physical representation of what my ego looks like. All Might shows him a scar. It completely diminished his hero career, and he can only keep up the bulky form for about 3 hours a day. Also, he kindly explains to Deku that he should give up the dream of being a hero and look for a cop career instead. Very heroic. The slime villain from earlier manages to escape All Might thanks to Deku and starts wreaking havoc in the city. And now he's captured Bakugo. Well, I guess I can't call him a villain anymore. All Might can take all the time he wants here. There are heroes on site to try and contain the situation, but everyone is hesitant because the thing is literally a slime and the fire around isn't helping. No one here is a gamer, I guess. Amidst all this, Deku, the one without any quirk, decides to jump in and risk his life without regard because it was the right thing to do. All Might, who was also among the hesitant ones, forgets about his bodily condition and jumps into action as well, inspired by Deku's bravery. After the incident, he makes sure to meet Deku properly this time, letting him know that even a quirkless person like him could become a hero. Actually, he didn't even mean it to make him feel good. He meant it like literally. He's about to make Deku a hero. In light of all this, All Might explains that his quirk, One for All, is something that is passed down to inheritors rather than something a person is born with. Deku accepts without a second thought, and so his shonen protagonist training begins in a junkyard. One for All is such a powerful quirk that a person's body has to be in peak form to contain its power, and Deku, no offense, looks like Woody from Toy Story. We get a bit of a time skip here, and after 10 months of junkyard training, Deku finally looks a little like Buzz now. In all seriousness though, he built his body really hard, so look at those muscles on the man. All that just so he can eat All Might's hair. That just never gets old. It's time to prove his worth, and so here we are at the UA High entrance examination. How do you pass? You beat up robots, gain points. Beat up a lot of robots, gain a lot of points. Happily ever after. Fiona! They have an entire mock-up city landscape for the participants to showcase their talents. Literally everyone is out here balling, using their quirks and getting points, and Deku has little to no idea how to use his, mostly because he just got his powers like literally yesterday. A giant robot worth 0 points appears out of nowhere. Deku has to steer clear of it, but a girl, Uraraka Ochako, is stuck in the rubble, unable to get out. He couldn't let her get squashed there, and so we have our first look at Deku one-shotting a giant giant robot using his quirk, which is basically getting a boost and throwing his hands. Heroism aside, the test ends with him unable to get even a single point in his favor. Instead, all 4 limbs of his are gone. Not a lot of people realize why he did what he did, apart from Tenya Ida, who was kind of a jerk a while ago, but trust me, my man's heart is made of gold. His injuries could have been made a long-term storyline if this mini old lady didn't kiss him back to life. A week passes since the exam, and Deku is not really stoked to know the results, because, yeah, he knows he scored a frackin' 0, there's no denying that. He still gets an envelope from UA with a small projector inside, where All Might recorded a message for him. Long story short, his heroism was noticed. He got a whole lot of secret points, and he passed as if we didn't see it coming from a mile away. Now, passing is good and all, but he still has to address the problem at hand, which is his insurability. Really though, imagine a bunch of villains show up and all he can do is throw a punch and then die. He'd be helping the villains more than his group. All Might tells him that his body is still not strong enough to hold the powers of One for All. His 10 months of training was just the beginning of it. There's still a long road to go and like 8 more seasons. With that in mind, Deku's school days finally begin, and even here we cannot escape Bakugo. Neither can I feel you. There's some really unforgettable characters here, but for starters, isn't the homeroom teacher Shota Aizawa the coolest dude of the entire show? Unless you're an Icy Hot fan, in which case, you know, I can't blame you there either. This is a superhero school, man! They don't waste any time getting into random frickin' tests. The goal is to throw a softball as far as they can using their quirk. Seeing their attitude, Aizawa sets a rule where the person who comes in last in all 8 tests combined will be expelled. A bunch of tests happen, from running to jumping to humping. Not the last one, but you get the memo, right? Deku fails to find a suitable place to use his quirk, but when he does try, Aizawa stops him by erasing it temporarily, explaining that harming oneself is a huge fail. However, Deku was no Bakabagak chicken. He focused all the pain on his fingers instead and made it clear to Aizawa that he was there to stay. Despite that, he does end up in last place, but luckily for him, Aizawa was lying about the whole expulsion thing, because of course he was. We don't want the show to end in like episode 2, 3. Where are we at? Not far enough. The real practice finally begins, and we see students dress up in their costumes, ready for some combat training. So everyone made their own costume, and as much as I hate to say it, Bakugo definitely looks frackin' epic here. On the other hand, Deku decided to show up as a grasshopper with human teeth. Alright, the training is basically a 2v2 situation where the hero party will have to catch the villains or secure a nuclear weapon, whereas the villains are to defend the weapon or catch the heroes. The pairings are quite bizarre, but Deku is lucky enough to be with Ochako. Definitely something up with these two. Also, Bakugo and Ida, the 2 most skilled kids, are on the same team. Fair play, All Might, fair play. To make the plot feel more convenient, the first match is Deku's team versus Bakugo's. They're about to get royally murdered. I like to skip all the minor details and get directly to the part where Deku just arm dragged Bakugo's little frickin' Tookish and body slammed him like a tool. Hell yeah! The fight is on from that point, and Deku keeps mostly to himself, dodging Bakugo's attacks and making sure he doesn't kill the dude with his punch. While they're having their little hide-and-seek game, Ochako is up against Ida, and that's what their idea of a nuclear weapon is. Actually, how would I know? I recap anime for a living. Ochako informs Deku that she is directly above the floor that he is in, and he uses that bit of information to lure Bakugo into doing a charge shot, destroying most of the surroundings. Even after getting a warning from All Might about the recent recklessness, he starts to go ham on Deku. In a final clash, Deku uses the force of their powers to destroy the floor above him, creating a bunch of rubble and concrete Ochako could use to her advantage. She lightens the weight of a pillar near her and uses it to strike a bunch of stones toward Ida. Seriously though, they had this entire sequence planned out with Ida dressed up as a Power Ranger, but the man was there to just stand and get violated by Ochako, who has the least offensive quirk in the entire class. All she can do is negate gravity from objects. How do you let this happen? They do manage to win, but yeah, Deku is done for at least a week. One of his hands is roasted while the other is broken to the bone. As hard as it was to watch him getting destroyed here, Bakugo's defeated little face really is worth it. The rest of the fights really don't matter much because yeah, side characters don't have much ambition. Plus the privilege of having rivalries is limited to main characters only, apparently, except for Icy Hot Todoroki Shoto, who literally freezes his way to victory. scary. I mention him because even Bakugo is a bit shaken to see him in action. If it weren't for old lady recovery girl, this anime would have ended a long time ago. She is a frickin' hack, kissing him every time he gets injured, and boom, just like that, good as new. When he gets back to class, everyone praises him for his performance, mostly because he made Bakugo look like the absolute clown that he is. Still though, Deku feels as if Bakugo deserves to know the truth behind his quirk, so he spills the beans. Just doesn't mention that All Might himself was helping him through the process. I was expecting someone to beat him up again, mostly because I thought he'd react negatively, but the boy takes it well and vows to be the #1 hero before Deku. Yeah, keep dreaming, son. The normal hero business comes to a halt in the class, and they go back to being an actual high school. The first step in doing that is appointing a class representative. Honestly, their enthusiasm is almost unreal. Nobody would want to be the teacher's lackey, but these kids are all fired up. As such, Ida suggests that the process should be decided by a vote, meaning Deku would get the highest, and he did, with 3 votes to him. So here we are with Deku as the class rep and Yaoyorozu Momo as his deputy. He really is a lucky guy. It's later known that despite wanting to be the representative himself, Ida gave his vote to Deku, whom he felt was worthy, and also because Ida is just a real one. However, a little incident occurs in school, and after seeing how Ida took charge and handled the situation, Deku resigns from his place and offers Ida to take up the role. Not Bakugo, Ida! He asked Ida! The next training regimen is where things really start to escalate. The class is set up for rescue training where they have to deal with unnatural disasters, shipwrecks, and stuff like that. Training takes place outside of the school in a special dome made of a special environment for special training. I was excited to see how they deal with these simulated environments, but the rescue training takes a quick turn for the worst and goes survival mode with the entry of some dudes who scream the word villain. I mean, look at this guy. He's trying extra hard to look evil. A hand covering his face? Why? Someone get Reagan Arataka from Mob Psycho in here. These frickers' egos need shattering. Many of these villains look like small fries, meaning the side characters like Kirishima and Asui will be taking care of them. The 3 in the back, the Brain Guy, Master Hand, and Salim Bradley seem to be the major players. Oh wait, looks like Aizawa will be taking on literally everyone, with the other teachers focusing on evacuation. Okay. The students try to escape, but Salim Bradley stops them, introducing his little party as the League of Villains. Oh, spoopy. Was that a Halloween meme? He makes it clear that these League of Villains exist for one goal, and that is to end the symbol of peace, meaning they want to kill All Might once and for all. All the students get scattered thanks to Mr. Blackie Holy here, and now they end up in groups fighting their own battles around the simulated environments of the dome. While all this is happening, All Might is resting in school, trying to recover his strength enough to attend the dome ceremony, but little does he know that the party has gone from PG to R-rated. Oh, at least it will be. He still tries to force his way through the dome, but the principal, who is a literal talking mouse by the way, stops him from explaining how important he is and he shouldn't be risking his career so eagerly. The fight at the dome is not getting any better by the passing minute, and the hero 13 advises Ida to run to school and notify them of the emergency. Deku, Asui, and frackin' Mineta for some reason are the first ones to win their battle and escape from this little pinch. Hilariously enough, it's Mineta's worthless quirk of sticky hairballs that comes in the clutch the most. Also, how did he pass the entrance exam? Not only that, but also got the best class in the school. It's not just him though. Todoroki has destroyed just about everyone that was ganging up on him. Seriously, this guy went in Mortal Kombat on the frickers. Meanwhile, the group of Denki, Jiro, and Momo are struggling despite having some of the best quirks in the series. Come on guys, you can't let Grape Boy show you up. I don't know about Jiro though. Her quirk earphone jack sounds more like a weakness than a strength. One large noise and the girl's down for the count. Still, they managed to take out the villains, and we're back to Aizawa, who has literally been punching and bashing people non-stop. Oh, he was ballin' for some time before Master Hand just injures his elbow, and what the frick is this thing? A vulture? A humanoid vulture? Whatever it is, doesn't take more than a few blows for it to put Aizawa down for good. How had Ida not left the place until now? I thought they had a whole scene of ups and downs and obstacle course games to let him get out, but no, the boy is still there looking confused. Holy frick, I thought this beast bruised Aizawa or something, but this bioengineered monster known as Nomu is just down here pinning his face in some tomato sauce. Anyway, skipping to the more important stuff, Ida, who is still running, he's still running inside the dome? Weren't you supposed to be fast, my guy? After some help from just about everyone, Ida runs fast enough to finally, holy frick, he leaves the place. Let's check back in with Aizawa. Yeah, he's still getting banged up all right, having his head slammed on the floor over and over again. Would you look at those eyes? Those are the eyes of a person who just wants to Sudoku himself. himself. Just when things were as hopeless as they could get, All Might appears in a tight salaryman dress, not to mention he looks pissed, you know, because the man has stopped smiling. There are no speeches and cuddles to go around. All Might wore that outfit because he meant business. He immediately starts swinging at Nomu, who is surprisingly tough enough to not just take his hits, but punch back. Everyone is super happy to see him in action and thinks that he will make quick work here, but only Deku knows things aren't as easy as they seem. Thanks to Kurogiri, Nomu manages to inflict some heavy damage on All Might's wounds. It did seem like he was about to get roughed up, but Bakugo, along with Todoroki, managed to save him in time. Nomu's still a frackin' cheat code, though. Not only can the thing absorb damage, he can regenerate from it as well. The kiddos are still eager to fight, but All Might tells him to, well, kindly piss off and starts to go berserk on Nomu. Beating him physically wasn't going to work, so All Might just punches the monster into the frackin' stratosphere. Yeah, try regenerating from that. He uses this momentum to his advantage and threatens Shigaraki, the creepy hand dude. The bluff was about to work, but Kurogiri insists that they stay and fight. It looked a bit bad for literally everyone but the pro heroes. A bunch of them arrive in time for the save. This one McCree-looking dude even manages to put some bullets through Shigaraki's knees just when he was about to escape. The rescue party is then set up and just about everyone is safe, including Aizawa, who I don't know how the guy is even alive right now. Oh, hey, look, they even managed to capture Nomu. Lucky Fricker managed to miss the trip to space. The season wraps up with All Might ensuring that this class of students will one day go on to be great heroes. And a cool headshot of every character, because you gotta make a dramatic exit, you just gotta. And that's where we're gonna leave it off today. If y'all loved the recap, please hit the like and subscribe buttons to let us know. It'll mean a lot to us. And if you are excited for the new season of My Hero Academia, let us know down in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.